Hey everyone, Papercut here, and we got a team replay review. We have Bauer here and Epoexo, both gold players. Bauer is one who actually requested the replay review, and he said that they just kind of been struggling against JD in general in French, but this French JD and this JD English pairing is particularly tough. So we're going to look at this game and see what they could have done differently. Now, when I first entered this game, Gorge is interesting because you actually spawn in this way where there's like a front and a back person, which actually you guys spawn perfectly for this. Your Malian player is going to want to cow boom, I anticipate, which this gives them the space to cow boom safely while you defend. Of course, you'll need to defend as well, but when I see this matchup, and I think this matchup, one, scouting is going to be important, so Exo should be scouting all the way to make sure he's getting as much sheep as possible, but you should be expecting, in my opinion, a feudal all-in from English and Gen Dark, knights and longbows purely. I think you, Deli player, Power, should open up Gazis and just be trying to as much as possible, just mass Gazis and deflect and attack and just keep around, and if you need to, you can take the berries in the back here, while Epoexo goes for cows. Sorry, my brain is not working fast right now. And make sure you can still make a mine here, by the way. It's totally okay. The mining camp. So one strategy is you kind of play very hard defense while Epoexo goes for Donzos and Javelin Throwers, and you guys just defend and defend until he can hit castle, and then he can mass units with a cow boom. The other option is Epoexo rushes castle, and he does Farimba, and does the pure gold Farimba route, where he like tries to sneak a pit mine over here, puts a bunch of villagers on gold, rushes up Farimba, and then overwhelms your opponent with probably Donzos, just a lot of Donzos, while you go Gazi Raiders, and he has like veteran Donzos, and you guys push back that way. And the reason I say that is because you have to figure out what's gonna beat a comp of knights and longbows. You could also do something where you do pure Gazis and he does just pure javelin throwers, and you guys, that's how you counter it. Though you need a lot of Gazis to counter knights, so you might have to do something like Gazis and spearmen while he does javelin throwers, but that requires a lot of micro. And lastly, you just need a lot of javelin throwers. You just need a lot of range in general because you need something to snipe Jeanne d'Arc. You want to avoid taking fights near Jeanne d'Arc until you have a big enough mass of range units to snipe her, because you don't want to be giving her XP and her aging up and her getting to level 3 before you guys can age up. So now you're hitting the age up. Let's speed up it here a little bit. Tower victory. I do not like this long range mining. You can drop a mining camp and it still gives some gold. It's okay to drop the mining camp here. But you see that this is definitely rush. Council Hall and School Cavalry, that's a huge rush signal. At this point, you guys need to get one last check in the corner to see what they have, and then you guys need to be near their base to see what they're actually doing, because they open 2 TC. That's a signal that Epoexo should just be rushing castle. I get the Saharan Chad network here because you have like this protected spot here. Then with that, you should have put it like right here, actually. Like if you really wanted the Saharan chain network here to potentially protect your like your eco on this side, your wood, maybe you're putting cows here, he should have placed this way farther forward to really create a buffer, because your TC's buffering the backside here. This is too passive considering that he had nothing pressuring him when he was placing it. Okay, so you're opening Gazis, which is good. Gonna put the scholar in. Here comes the first knight, and that's just, that can't happen. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm recovering from a cold. And the reason you should not have lost the villa there is just because they aged up and you knew they were coming. Like basically, if you're not good at feeling the timing, i.e. when a knight can usually get there, and you could have had your scout planted in the center. Instead, both of you have your scouts over here, where you could have had your scouts sitting on the open zone where they're coming through. You should not have lost a villager there. You could have instead just had your scout planted there, or just in general, once they age up, pulled all your villagers off berries and gone to the sheep, which is another reason why it would have been nice if Epo had placed Saharan right here, because then you could have gone the berries a lot safer. I don't know why he's putting cattle ranches on this side, but I feel like the side protected by the Saharan trade network is much better for him. Make sure to pop out a scholar to heal those Ghazis. You're running very heavy on gold. Are you rushing castle? Why do you have 9 on gold? Okay, now you're pulling off. I'm just very confused about what was the goal behind that much gold. Because here's what that led to. If you didn't realize and you were just rallying against the gold, that's honestly the worst resource for you to rally to as Delhi, because you just don't need gold. None of your upgrades cost gold. For one, you need to make sure the second you hit feudal age, you are getting all your upgrades. So you forgot mining camp, you forgot lumber camp, and you don't have a blacksmith yet. 2, you have to recognize what's the unit you need. The unit you need is Ghazis, which requires a lot of food and some wood. So you need to be rallying to food basically from the jump, have like 8 on wood, and I would have dropped the second stable by now, or a blacksmith. Blacksmith is safer to start getting the upgrades, and then a second stable. And you're just trying to mass as many Ghazis as possible. Especially because your Malian teammate is going Donzo, so you guys are obviously wanting to do a Donzo Ghazi comp here. So you need a lot of Ghazis. And now, like, see, what is this gold gonna get you? What are you getting from this gold? Nothing. Remember, pop out the scholar to heal the Ghazis. So this is the problem you're gonna face really early as the front player, is that your wood is super exposed, especially in the longbows. So once again, the Saharan chain work nice in the sense that it's protecting something. You want it right here, and then you should have just gone to this backwood line too. Like, knowing he has longbows, and it's very, very hard to defend against, you need to go back here. English player is also starting to add in spearmen, which is going to be bad news for your Ghazis. So in that case, you need to start adding, okay, you're adding archers, good. And I think you now go pure archers, archers and some Ghazis, while he goes Donzos. And the key here is, I want you to notice your production issues. Your opponent has 3 knights, and you have 3 Ghazis. That doesn't make any sense. Each one of your Ghazis is 140 resources. A knight is 240 resources. And you notice where those resources went? They went to your gold. That's why the separation of your villagers is so important. You want to make Ghazis? Sweet. You need to be on food and wood. Being on gold this heavy didn't get you anything, and now you're behind on units because you didn't have the resources to make those units. So having the plan and having your villagers split to the resources to accomplish that plan is so important. Same with the English player. So it's obviously the English player and the French player knew what they wanted, and they tied their eco to the things that they wanted. You can't take this fight. Don't take this fight. The key here is whenever they try to engage, having Donzos throw their spears at Jeanne d'Arc to try to like sniper with Donzo spears, basically. Just have your villagers collect wood on the safe wood line in the back, in my opinion. This is just asking to be picked by longbows regularly. Okay, so where are your Ghazis going? Because you haven't scouted anything from the English player. You haven't even scouted this side. You don't know where anything is. So you're going in the dark. You have your scout here. The scout should be with the Ghazis. Don't go in blind. Use your scout. Don't push up. Both of you are just making decisions without vision. So much of what goes wrong in silver games, gold games, platinum games, is we just do things without vision. You know he's sitting here, so why are you walking out with your Donzos? There's no reason to walk out. You're the defensive player. You're trying to get up your cow boom as fast as possible. Well, your teammate is. You're trying to just make as many Ghazis and archers as you can, which you've stopped producing, by the way. And you want to do this raid, which is fine. It's fine to do this raid, but like, you're doing it without vision, and now your teammate is walking out of base without vision, where even if I didn't have scouting, I would have known they're there because that's where they just were. Why would they pull all the way back? Of course, going to be sitting right on your home base. So if he's going to lose all these Donzos from this, it's very silly. 2 Donzos down, and you just gave Jeanne d'Arc XP for no reason. And I know it sounds cruel, but it's like, you're doing this to yourself. Just use your scouts. Because here's the thing. You've been scouting. Woodline's open. And if you scouted, you would see where the deer packs are. So you can try to catch where he's going. So right now they're both... He's about to run out of food, actually. So you're catching him when he wants to go out on sheep, which is actually really key. He's invested so heavily into this longbow rush that he hasn't made any farms. Same for the French player, has more sheep, but he's going to sell on sheep for as long as he can because he's want to get his food cut down. So you timed this really well. Are you going to catch it though? Yeah, they also got really lucky. This deer pack is so close to their base. That's actually really crazy. While your deer pack's all the way in the front and his deer pack's all the way out here. So honestly, it's kind of crazy spawns there for sure. Okay, he needs to... I like how many Donzos he's making, honestly, but he needs to be getting a few more cows in the pen there. Oh, but you're missing it. It's right here. You would see it if your scout was there. Don't overchase. Don't overchase. Just getting them to leave the woodlines enough. Once you start eating a full TC worth of arrows, that's when it's not becoming worth it anymore. You don't want to lose that Ghazi. And 2, once this happens, you want to bring them back and heal them. So that you're not losing units, because the unit mass is so important here. Don't run this in the center. Don't run this in the center. You're just gonna get sniped. Okay, if you stay here and grab a couple longbows, that'd be really nice. Or archers. Good vision. See scouting? You see what he has? Don't stand this far forward. You don't need to be this far forward. Be back here. But honestly, you saw they're dropping more production. Like, they're investing in this. And I've seen you be on 2 production buildings this whole time. 3. Okay. So you should be adding more production, or at least putting the other scholar in this production building. Because you need just more units. They're going in. Good villager pick. But you just threw your archers away. Because why you rallied so far forward? You know what I mean? Like, why are we out here? Well, you could be just sitting next to your TC. And then if they dive, you just hop the village in the TC and you're getting a lot of damage done. This tower should be over here. This tower doesn't protect anything about the tower near the wood line where it can actually protect something. But you just threw away 3 archers for no reason. Pretty good raids, but you're just losing so much. You're racing to be quick in and outs. If you can make them start heading back to TC, that's all you need to do. Then you just back up. You're getting bill kills, that's nice. You're not making villagers. You need consistent villager production here. You're on 33 vills. 40 vills. 38 vills. 31 vills. So French player is also forgetting to make vills. You've killed a few, but not that many. I think you have just been legitimately not making vills for a second. So I think you only lost like 1 or 2. Which means I think you've missed a couple rounds of villager creation. I'm gonna sit in your TC for a minute. Yeah, you're just not making vills, my man. Still not making vills. This wall doesn't do anything. Don't build this wall. You're just wasting wood and your archer's gonna die. Yep. We build walls to section things off and to make it less likely to be raided. So like, a wall here to here would have made sense, because then they can't raid this wood line as easy. A wall, if you could have done it, like here to here, or here to here, down to here, so that your whole backside over here is safe. A wall just in front of your base that they could just ran around anyway, that's not doing anything. It's just aesthetic. Once again, when you're playing defensive, you have to save your units. You have to make it so whenever a fight happens, they're forced to take a bad position in the fight because they have to dive or something under TC. You also have so much wood. At this point, you could just start dropping farms right here if you really wanted to. Or you could drop a market, sell the wood, buy food, and make units. But my concern is that you just stopped making units as consistently. You're not making villagers. Your eco's falling behind. I always keep my TC on my side of my mouse, so I always cycle through it constantly. So I'm always making villagers. But look at this: 29 units. 21 units, which those are knights and archers. 23 units. -17. So you guys are getting outmassed right now, which will be okay if you find your TC, but you should have 5 more units that you threw away unnecessarily. Also, if you lose a scout, make a scout, or just use the one you've left over here. Do not raid with your entire army like this, because if they actually die with the rams, you'll have nothing to protect it. I would have taken half the Gazis. Leave half the Gazis behind. The other half should now go and raid, or catch reinforcements like this, because your group of Gazis can kill spearmen if there's only one running across. So, but they are, I mean, they're going to be on the food, right? You know they're going to be on the deer, so that's the way to go, but don't send all of them. Send like half. So you have half that are still back here to defend. Where are the javelin throwers? Oh my god, we've queued up 6 javelin throwers in one production building. That's a nightmare. You just threw away Gazis for no reason. You should feel very lucky they're not checking your resources at all. You're getting this Bears over here for free. But look at your resources. You could have so many more units. You'd have so many more units if you were just making production. Also, once again, these towers should be on wood lines or on resources that could be raided, not next to your TC, because they actually protect something. Your TC is already protected. It has 15 slots to shoot things with. But you should be adding more production buildings. You could have 3 archery ranges, 3 stables, and producing way more units, because look at all this extra resources you're having. You're just not spending your resources. Which is a cycle. Like the number one thing to get better in the game is just always be making villagers, always be making units, always be adjusting villagers depending on the resource you need. Keep adding production, keep adding units, keep making villagers. If you do those things, you will just win because you'll have more units. Honestly. No, don't stop. You're just losing Gazis and not doing damage anymore. And that's basically for nothing. That was for nothing, honestly. Stop trying to build this wall. This wall isn't doing anything. It's a nothing burger. And now you have half of your Gazis that can't fight anymore. Like, if you've pulled his entire knights to chase you, just run away. You're doing, like, what's the purpose of raiding? To do damage, but also to buy time. To buy time so you can keep making units and get a better defensive setup. You bought yourself time. If he's chasing you with knights, they're not going to push. And then you just throw your Gazis away. Here comes the push. And now with your unit numbers on, that you can hold this. Spearmen are on your... The Gazis need to run away when the spearmen get to the fighting point. Malia numbers are actually huge here, but there's just so many rams. The javelin thrower numbers are nice. Once again, just too many rams. And man, would you have liked those Gazis. And man, if you had just more archers, that would have been really a big deal for you. And yeah, you hold them, but there's 2 big issues for you. Oh, you're about to lose your second. I mean, really, Jean d'Arc going level 3 is a really, really big problem here. Now both your landmarks are destroyed. And you're out of resources. And you're down to 36 vills. And it's basically over. That's rough. So really what this game came down to, 1, you stopped adding production. 2, you stopped making units and villagers consistently. 3, you and your teammate didn't scout very well and didn't know what your opponent was doing, what they're setting up for. Lastly, when you were raiding, you didn't raid to buy time and do some damage. You raided to just send your units in there to try to kill as many villagers, and they all died. Respect your units. Like, your units are worth a lot. And the more you can keep alive, the more you can use later. Now, keep in mind, I will throw units away to raid sometimes, but usually that's a conjunction with a fight. Like, if I'm pushing, then I'll send in a raiding party. But if I'm just raiding solo to buy time, I'm actually going to pay attention to those raiders and not lose them. It's very, very important. You're raiding to buy time, not necessarily just to kill, because them chasing you or them sending villagers back to TC, that is equal loss, and that's time bought. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck on your games.